let's get right into this, into the bracket here. Starting off in the Eastern Conference, guys. Cleveland versus either Atlanta or Miami. Obviously, again, that game is tonight. We will know for sure. However, I got a strange feeling that for you guys, it doesn't move the needle who their opponent is. However, Will, let me know where you're at in terms of Cleveland versus either one of these frisky playing teams.
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me here, guys. Happy to be back, but you nailed it, man. It doesn't matter. Atlanta, Miami, line them up, ball up top. Cavs are taking this one. You know, this is a sweep, gentleman's sweep. It's not going beyond that, right? Like maybe one of these teams can sneak in a game, but both Atlanta and Miami, like in this play-in game, it's just a JV version of the play-in, right? This is the play-in tournament. I love that it forces teams to really care about those top 6 seeds. The actual games themselves outside of 7-8 are usually pretty uninteresting to me, if I'm just being brutally honest. And so when I look at Atlanta, Miami, neither of these teams, like there's no hint of, you know, the Miami 8 seed that the Celtics faced a couple years ago, where it was a team that felt like it pretty dramatically underperformed, and you had 2 All-Stars there. And you could still say there's 2 All-Stars there, as Tyler Hero did make the All-Star team this year. You have Bam Adebayo, who's kind of had a bit of a weird year. Like, I actually still think Miami's probably at this time probably a little bit better than Atlanta, after Atlanta traded off some of their guys to be able to give some more development to their younger players. But end of the day, Cleveland is a very well-deserving 1 seed, and they're a 1 seed for a reason with their top-end talent. They're one of the few teams that even get close to matching the Celtics from a top-end talent perspective. So in a 1-8 matchup, I think this is an easy sweep, gentleman's sweep, however you want to look at it. Doesn't matter if it's the Hawks or if it's the Heat.
Yeah, no doubt. In this series, whether it's the Heat or the Hawks, the Cavaliers, they should either take it in 4 or 5. I don't see, Rob, you said it perfectly. It doesn't move the needle. And what's so funny, we have so many conversations about the play-in tournament throughout the season, and when it comes up about the play-in tournament, is it really does it have enough chutzpah to stay in the NBA? I don't like this dynamic where the Cavs and the Thunder, they're the last teams to know their playoff opponent. Just think, if you're the Nuggets, the Clippers, anybody out there who knows their playoff opponent already,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even the 2 seeds, they've been preparing for a week now. And the 1 seeds, what, they have to wait till Friday to know who they're playing on Sunday? Seems a little jaded in that perspective. But regardless, the 1-8 matchup, it's always the matchup in which is the worst come first round, because the 8 seeds, the 8 seeds in this year's bracket, now in the West, we saw there was a huge discrepancy between the 8 and the 9, and then of course the 10. But out east, the 8 seed here, whether it was, the Hawks ended up as the 8 seed, and then the Heat and Bulls, they were down there at 9 and 10. It was close. It was close. And you could have ultimately seen the Magic or the Hawks, who were the 7 and 8 matchup, they fall down to 9 or 10. And either of these teams, I just don't think pose a threat to the Cavaliers whatsoever. You saw Will, you were on here when the news broke of the Cavaliers trading for DeAndre Hunter from the Atlanta Hawks earlier this season. And it just felt like at that moment in time, Atlanta, now they've been 500 for this entire decade so far, half decade. They made the conference finals in 2021, but outside of that, they've been a 500 basketball team. But ever since they traded DeAndre Hunter away, Bogdanovich, a lot of questions have surrounded the Hawks. And that playing game the other night gave me the feel of 1-2-3 Cancun. 100%.
Oh, yeah.
The Hawks were out of there. They were going there. I mean, the effort level was pretty laughable. And I do think, the trade earlier this season, some of the trades made by the Hawks earlier this season, put them in that state of potentially a limbo year in which they could make a lot of moves come summertime. A lot of big changes could be coming on the horizon for the Hawks. And I do see them as a team just kind of bowing out at this point in time, whereas I see the Heat as potentially a team that they could be I don't want to say tough first round series for Cleveland, but I think they'd bring more physicality. I think they'd bring more star power to the series, more looks. And obviously, I just think from a head coaching perspective, anytime you have Eric Spoelstra in a series, you're going up against a really tactically sound head coach. And I believe tonight we're going to see Miami win that playing game, and we're going to see the LeBron Bowl in round 1. The Cavs and the Heat face each other. But I don't think the Heat have enough firepower, enough offensive creation to stay with the Cavaliers over time. I think they'll give them some trouble defensively here and there, but the Cavaliers all year, they've been just a prolific offensive team. Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, and them running the pick and roll with Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. And then you have DeAndre Hunter slotted in there. And just think Atlanta, Caires LeVert, Georges Niang, they're playing real minutes with Atlanta right now. And it's not looking all that great with the Hawks. And yet, with the Cavaliers, they shed those two players off their roster, insert DeAndre Hunter, and I think it does them some good in this series, and then it's going to do them some good in the playoffs as well. But this one doesn't need much conversation because the Cavs, barring just a major, major disaster, an injury to Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, anybody like that, you're going to see the Cavaliers exit round one and do it in a fairly easy fashion against either the Heat or the Hawks. And I would say the Heat, they probably have the upper hand on the Hawks at this point in time, who just look to be bowing out of their season. I almost want to talk about them as they're going to bow out of the series, but they might do it tonight against the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat, I think, have a little bit more fight in them, but I still don't see them having the talent, the skill sets to actually hang offensively with the Cleveland Cavaliers. And also from a defensive perspective, I don't think the Miami Heat have enough. I would say from the Cavs defensive perspective, I think that there are some matchups there in which they actually like against the Miami Heat, despite the Heat having two All-Stars. I just don't think the two All-Stars on the Heat, Hero and Adebayo, they're C-listers, they're B-listers. They're not exactly the guys who are going to take everybody to the next level with themselves.
Right.
And I think we could also see them struggle in this series. So give me the Cavs in 4. If it's not 4, give me 5. But we all know these 1-8 matchups. Quick, get them out of there. This is the real case to bring back the 3-game series in round 1 if you're down 3-0. It'll be this series right here.
I'm with you guys. I agree. I think this is Miami's game to take tonight. Trae Young quit with 5 minutes left in the fourth. He just said, I don't want to be here. Screw this. I'm out of here. Gets ejected. Miami, they're this delusional team that every year, and they've done it rightfully so. Every year they think they have a chance to go on a run. And I think they think that again. So they think they're playing with something to prove. I think from a game planning standpoint, Atlanta would be a freebie. I still think Miami's a freebie, but from a game planning, when you have Garland out there who's a smaller guard and you get a matchup on Trae Young, it's a free series for him not to get exposed. And I think that's big. So I agree. If it's Atlanta, it's definitely 4. Miami's so they're pesky, and
you give Spo 1 maybe, right?
Right.
It might be that, but yeah.
Hero's going to get hot one game, and Bam's going to cause havoc down there to grab a game. We've seen this before as Celtics fans just last year. So no, I'm with you guys. Miami, I got Cleveland in 5. Atlanta, I'd be shocked if they win tonight. If they do win, 4.
You could also make this case for Miami too. They're kind of coming together as a squad after the trade deadline, after everything was turbulent with Jimmy Butler. Kyle Anderson comes in, Andrew Wiggins, Davion Mitchell. They're kind of, they had that stretch where they were awful. They were 4-13 in a 17-game sample size. But I feel like near the end of the season, they were starting to come together a little bit more, whereas the Hawks, ever since the trade deadline, it just felt like they started to unravel. And that's why also that you could see the Heat this series potentially give the Cavs a little bit more of a run. I could see the Heat pushing it 5. I think if the Hawks come out and win this playing game tonight, I think it's a 4-game series against the Cavs. So either or, the Cavs are going to make it out of this series.